Very good morning to everyone. Good morning, Amulya. Okay, so today I'll be doing the weekly analysis of the Hindu. So the first article on your way is, are states justified in opposing revenue sharing model? Now, here what we are going to basically study and what is important for your exam purpose is, Amulya, can you just tell me which paper of GS would it be linked to? Are states justified in imposing revenue sharing model? Any idea? Yes, actually it's GS paper 3 and GS paper 2 both. Why? Because here we'll be discussing about fiscal federalism, because we are talking about what states. What are states doing? They are justifying in opposing what? Or the states are justified in opposing revenue sharing model. So here you have the case of fiscal federalism. And yes, very rightly pointed out, it's about economics. So you have finance related to it. Fine. Now, this whole article is talking about what revenue sharing model, and it is talking about, are states justified in opposing that? Now, if states are justified, or if states feel, this there's some changes that need to be brought in the revenue sharing model. First, you should know that where is all the finance coming from, and how the devolution of finance is actually happening. So you see, whenever the center, or you say, whenever we are talking about such kind of model, we always talk about what is the relation between the national government and the state government, or the union government or the state government. For that matter, we should know how is center devoluting, or the devolution of finance happening to the states. Now, if you have a little bit idea regarding what how all the process is happening, so you must be knowing that the center, uh, you know reduce the funds towards the states based on two approaches, and that is the static portion. And what are those two approaches? See, first is the statutory grants. That means the center makes statutory grants, or grants to the states. Then the center make what? Discretionary grants. Now see, you should know what is the exact difference between statutory grants and discretionary grants. So when I talk about discretionary grants, what is happening? Discretionary grants are given in the form of what? Central plan assistance. That means the center is giving assistance to the state, and there is no such formula to it, that on what basis these discretionary grants are being given to. So the discretionary grants are given by center to the state, based on the cause that these are assistance that are provided by the center to the state. Fine. Now, when the topic is about statutory grants, that means what are statutory grants? So, the statutory grants are basically coming from where they are coming on, or from the recommendations of the Finance Commission. That means the grants that are being given from the center, or by the center to the states, that is based on the recommendation of the Finance Commission. That means the Finance Commission has told the center to grant, or to bring, or to to provide these grants to the state. So it is mandatory for the center to give these grants. So this statutory grants is coming under what? Under the recommendation of Finance Commission. Fine. So these recommendations are coming from the Finance Commission. Now the point is, what are the recommendations of the Finance Commission regarding the statutory grants? So the Finance Commission says that firstly, all the grants that are going to fulfill what your revenue deficits, revenue deficit grants. Then apart from this, they are saying, or they're talking about local body grants. Then a share that need to be provided from divisible pool of taxes, which is based on formula. So taxes, fine. So these are certain, these are the two ways in which the center is going to deliver finance to the state. One based on statutory grant. The statutory grant is coming from the recommendation of the Finance Commission. Another is the discretionary grants, and discretionary grants is what? Assistance that are provided by the center to the state. Fine. Okay. Now, when I said that the recommendation is coming from the Finance Commission, that means what is Finance Commission talking about, or what is Finance Commission all about? So here you should know that Finance Commission is, or where is this, body of Finance Commission there? So Article 280 of the Constitution is talking about Finance Commission. Other than that, the Finance Commission comprises of chairman and 4 other members. Other than that, Parliament is going to determine the qualification of the members of Finance Commission. Fine. And the tenure of the Finance Commission, or the people who are associated with the Finance Commission, is decided by the President, and the officers associated with Finance Commission are also eligible for reappointment. Fine. So it was very important for you to know about these details, that center is granting what to state, based on what, who, from where is the recommendation coming from, who is holding the office of this Finance Commission, etc. Fine. Now, if you see, it is saying, the article is talking about what? Are states justified in opposing revenue sharing model? So first, you should know that, why are states opposing this revenue sharing model? So let's see why states are actually opposing this revenue sharing model. Okay. So what is the issue with the revenue sharing model? And this revenue sharing model has been, brought by Finance Commission. So what is the issue? See, they are saying that first issue is about demographic performance. What is demographic performance? Now, see, there is a population explosion which has happened in the country. Now this population explosion, you see what is happening is it is varying. That means the total fertility rate, that is TFR, is varying from state to state, right? So if you compare the TFR of UP with the states of southern India, so it is very different. So TFR is varying from state to state. Now, based on this, what is happening is the demography is varying. Now, when the demography is varying, now here you see some state or some state would want a higher, you can say, a higher weight of funds. So based on that, what you need to understand is that the revenue sharing model should focus on the aspect of who are who are associated with populous states. And then they should be taken note of. And now if you are going to provide revenue to these populous state more, what is going to happen is ultimately you are avoiding the other states. Now if certain states are performing well, say if the southern states are able to control the TFR, now what is happening? If you are going to provide more revenue to the states who are having high population, what are you actually doing is you are instead of crediting them, you are discouraging them. Why? Because you are providing high share of revenue to those states who are having highest population and less to those who have controlled TFR. So this will act as a discouraging factor. So that is one of the very important, or you can say one of the grave issues that need to be dealt with. Now other than that, what is happening is uh, there has been a lot of change that has been witnessed with respect to what that means, the weightage of population with respect to the area. This is what I said, that every year, every other time, what you witness is that the population is varying. Now when population is varying, that means your 15th finance commission, whatever the 15th finance commission has recommended, that has been recommended under or based on 2011 census. Fine. Now what is the weight that is given based on the area? So according to the 11th finance commission, they say that the weight, that is the population, the weight has doubled or has increased by 7.5%. Now, when it has increased by 7.5%, the 11th Finance Commission, under the report of the census, has talked about what? Providing more revenue in the favor of the states. Now, this is what? Depending upon the weightage of the population. Fine. Okay. So these are two important issues based on which the states justified opposing the revenue sharing model. Now let's move on to the next article. The next article says that Lakshadweep's maritime potential. Firstly, you should know why are we or what is the need to study about Lakshadweep's maritime potential. Now, see, here you should know about Lakshadweep in detail. So, what is Lakshadweep all about? So, if you see, Lakshadweep is India's smallest UT. And why smallest UT? Because it comprises of close to 36 islands and has an area of 32 square kilometer. So firstly, the smallest UT with 36 islands and 32 square kilometer of area. And what is the capital of this island is, or this UT is? The capital is Kavaratti. Okay, now there could be questions for your prelims that what do Lakshadweep means. So where is this word eventually coming from? So if you see the word Lakshadweep in Sanskrit means that 100,000 islands. Fine. Okay. Now, what is so important about Lakshadweep? Because definitely, if they are targeting you in PT, so they are not going to ask you such easy questions, or probably they would, but that would be one of the options, not the only options. So, again, what could be important here? So, coconut and thinga is the only crop of economic importance. Importance in Lakshadweep. Now, two faunas who are associated with Lakshadweep and are very important for you to know. That means the oceanic birds generally found in Lakshadweep are, one is your Tharathasi, and other is Karifetu. So these are the two oceanic birds, very important with respect to Lakshadweep. Fine. Now, this was something related to flora fauna. Then a little bit idea about what Lakshadweep are. You are studying geography, then you will eventually get to know about Lakshadweep even more. Now, other than this, this Lakshadweep island hold a lot of importance and significance with respect to culture and heritage. So, what is the important culture and heritage that is associated with this territory? Now, see, there is two important art forms that are associated with Lakshadweep, and that is Kolkali and Parichakri. Now, both of them are two important or two popular folk art forms. Fine. Okay. Now, if you just go through the map, then you'll find some channels that are actually dividing the islands. Now these channels again in UPSC they have in prelims they have asked this question in previous years, and what was that? They have asked the similar question with respect to Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So when they have asked about Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and recently we found what that when he had the tussle with Maldives. So Lakshadweep tourism, was gaining relevance with that aspect. So there are high chances they might target Lakshadweep this year or the coming years. So what you can know about Lakshadweep and the location is that there is a 8-degree channel, and this 8-degree channel is doing what? This is separating Minicoy and Maldives. Okay, so this is 8-degree channel. The other one is the 9-degree channel. The 9-degree channel is separating your Minicoy and the Minicoy from the main Lakshadweep archipelago. And Minicoy is what? Minicoy is the largest island of Lakshadweep. Fine. Okay. Now I have, just told you that there has been a lot of tussle with, India with respect to the Maldives and international relations. So for that matter, Lakshadweep becomes important because this Lakshadweep Union Territory has a very high potential of tourism. So let's discuss about this. That what is probably the potential of Lakshadweep Islands. So next thing that we are, going to talk about is the importance of Lakshadweep Island, or what relevance does Lakshadweep Island holds. See, Lakshadweep Islands has a very, they have huge potential with respect to what. Firstly, I have just, discussed the location factor with you all. Then I have told you that, the Minicoy Island is separated from the Maldives with what 8-degree channel. So now, this Lakshadweep Island has a huge potential now, huge potential with respect to what? Tourism, and with tourism what importance they are holding. See, there is a lot of untouched segment in the Lakshadweep Islands which need to be explored. So what are those segments? Firstly, they have a very unique culture. Then they have this untouched beauty segment to them. So untouched beauty. And the other one is what? This Lakshadweep island has what? A part of sustainable tourism. So yes, probably the sustainable tourism section. Fine. Now, if I talk about unique culture, so here what you can explore is the unique dance style, the folk art, etc., music and all. So dance, folk art, music, traditions, etc. Now, when I talk about the beauty segment, so you have what? The segment of flora and fauna. And what are those? You have corals, you have lagoons, you have, as it says, the maritime potential. So, yes, marine life. Now, this all unexplored or untouched beauty is what? Is the paradise of Lakshadweep. And that what makes Lakshadweep a paradise. Fine. Now, when I talk about sustainable tourism, the sustainable tourism is about eco-friendly section. That means eco-friendly practices, and more so if you want sustainable tourism in this segment, then you have to talk about what? Community tourism. That means here you can associate what? Community-based tourism. Fine. Now this was something related to the soft power of Lakshadweep. That means the culture is attractive, the beauty is untouched, then the sustainable tourism. Now there is the location aspect of Lakshadweep as well. That means the location of the Lakshadweep is going to serve a lot of purpose. So what is that location segment that is going to act? This is going to serve a lot of purpose. So let's discuss with respect to the location segment. So the location aspect, what is the location aspect going to serve? Now, see, the location of the Lakshadweep Island is such that it is probably, or it has become probably one of the hot spot of smuggling of arms. Then, since the location is in the regions of Arabian Sea, so what you find here is that here onwards it is becoming very difficult to have or monitor or keep a check on the privacy. Then here you find what? That this Lakshadweep Island holds a high domination power with respect to Indian Ocean region. So domination with respect to or in the regions of Indian Ocean. So in the domination in the Indian Ocean region. So when Lakshadweep is holding domination in the Indian Ocean region, that means this island has ultimately become what? An important location, or you can say important area with respect to geopolitics. So this is going to serve as a very important factor with respect to geopolitics. Geopolitics, why? Because now they can act as a hub, and hub with respect to what? Training and coordination of naval forces. Okay, so this becomes what? This becomes very important with respect to what? Now this area, you must be knowing about quad. You know about quad? So here you can have what? Joint exercise. So joint exercise with, okay, joint exercise of quad. Fine. Now, this was something which was related to the location aspect. That means the location where the Lakshadweep Islands are present, how the location of that island is going to serve other purposes. Now, I have discussed about the geopolitics, I have discussed about the naval forces, I have discussed about the joint exercise. Now, the point is that how ultimately, uh, defense is going to act as one of the, or how defense is going to get stronger with respect to the Lakshadweep Islands. So defense may, what is there? Now in 2010, what happened was that there were various coast, or you can say a coast guard station was established, and this coast guard station was established in where? In Kavaratti and Minicoy Island. Fine. Now, again, there was this first naval base, and this first naval base is of INS Dweep Parakshak. And this was commissioned where? In Kavaratti Islands in 2012. Now there have been again various. See, I told you that this has become one of the hotspot of smuggling of arms, and it is very difficult to address the privacy, or you can say piracy. Piracy has become one of the crucial thing over there. So to handle all these things, this has also led to what? Various installations. Various installations with respect to what? To serve surveillance and reporting function. And this is with respect to what? This has a huge potential for logistic bases. Fine. Now, see, Of course, we are heading towards a lot of development. So there are other things that which are or which to which Lakshadweep Island can serve as a good probably an area for. So what are those? See, a lot of agriculture and allied activities can be thought of here. So it has a ground for that also, agriculture and allied activities. Other than that, what there has been research and development that has been taken place. Then a lot of research and development has taken place, or can be, this can be a hotspot for those activities. Now I told you about installation, so definitely this is going to act as a ground for what a lot of connectivity and infrastructure development. So connectivity and infrastructure. Now, since I told you that this island is having or is a hotspot of culture and heritage angle also. So this island can also act as what reason for cultural preservation. So yes, cultural preservation becomes important part. So what we can say here is that if probably we are thinking about exploring the Lakshadweep Islands and it has a huge potential, what can be done is that we can think about more of inclusive and sustainable development in this area. By inclusive and sustainable development, what is going to happen is it is going to serve as one of the important factor with respect to economic activities and also with respect to boosting India's soft power. So with that, I think Lakshadweep holds a lot of relevance. Okay, so let's is this clear? Fine. Now let's move on to the next article. Now the next article says recalibrating merit in the age of artificial intelligence. Now if you see, the article is talking about what? Firstly, merit, and then it is talking about artificial intelligence. Now, merit in the age of artificial intelligence. So, they are saying that robots are going to take over. We are entering in a arena where robotics is something which we are which we need to talk about. We need to even think about. We need to learn about and probably explore that field also. So they are saying that recalibrating merit in the age of artificial intelligence. Now when robots are the one who are going to take over, so what about the merit? That means the meritocracy that we hold somewhere or other, that is going to slow down the human minds. So this is what the article is all about. Let's discuss what the author has been talking about. So the author has said, or the author in this article has talked about reforms. And why reforms? Because the author feels that these reforms are very important, because these reforms would eventually bring or should be brought so as to reform meritocracy and why reformation of, or why reforms are required for the idea of reforming meritocracy, with because of, or what is associated with it is because of the associated societal structure. Now, what is happening? See, first you should know what is meritocracy. So, what is meritocracy, or how shall you define meritocracy? Because they say that merits. So, what is merits, or what is meritocracy? So, a meritocracy is what? It is a social system. A meritocracy is a social system in which what is happening? People get status or rewards. So people get status or rewards with respect to what? Whatever they achieve. So this is something you need to take note of. What the social system is rewarding you, or you are achieving the status based on what? Based on what you achieve. It is not something that you are going to inherit, because there are some people who are they have a different level of attitude with respect to what? Because we have the wealth that is associated with our family, or the inheritance of properties that is happening. No, it's not. Then you're not a meritocrat. In fact, I think you are a stupid. So meritocracy is all about what? A social system where status or rewards are achieved, or status or rewards are you achieve rather than the wealth or social status or background. Fine. Now, what is this AI about? So, how AI has complicated the reforming of meritocracy, and what is the author talking about? So, see, author has highlighted certain aspects, and what are those? Now, author says that if machines perform the majority of the tasks, this is what I told you, that we are heading towards robots, and how are we ultimately going to check the human minds, or how we are going to increase the human mind capacity, because ultimately the majority of the tasks that will be performed by the robots, so human mind will be at the back seat. So first the author is saying that if the majority task is being performed by the robots, then where is the need of human intelligence and creativity? So human intelligence and creativity, where is human intelligence and creativity? Why? Because the majority tasks are being performed by the robots. Now, if we are again focusing so much on AI, then access to AI will always be a priority. So, traditional notion of the merit will again take a backseat. So, there will always be prioritization of AI. Now, other than all this, the jobs that are present, that means based on the caliber of the humans that will again be hindered with respect to what? Because most of the time what is going to happen is that everything will be associated with data, or you can say it will be more with respect to what? uh, with respect to AI algorithms. So what is going to happen is the high level education. Why would eventually anyone go for high level education? And if you see the education system, people are already so dumb. So if we are again checking the, if you are going for AI, and we eventually have such a crowd which don't even know how to operate from mind, and it is again going to be a big task. Why? Because nobody is going for higher education. Okay. Next is what? Now, this AI is also going to do what? There will be a hegemony of data. And see, data is the new oil in present time. Why? Because everything, every other thing that is getting operated, or even any policy that is going to get framed, formed, implemented, everything is associated with respect to what? Just a minute. Okay, so everything is associated with what? Data. So this is eventually going to lead, according to author is saying that this is going to lead to a lot of socio-economic disparities. Why? Because the one who are having a hand on AI are probably the one who are at the top. So when this is happening, what is happening is, again, the meritocracy is at, or is on the back seats. So the data is again going to bring in a lot of socio-economic disparities. So this is what the author has talked about in the article, because the author is worried about the meritocracy. The author is saying that AI is good, development is good, bringing robots is good, but if you are bringing robots, somewhere or other, the traditional notion with respect to the merits will take a back seat. Human intelligence and creativity again is going to get hampered. And while writing the article, the author has even quoted who? Michael Young. So the author has quoted Michael Young. Just a minute. And what has author talked about? So the author has quoted Michael Young, and what has the author talked about? Now he says that in his book, which book? The Rise of Meritocracy, the book of Michael Young. Rise of Meritocracy. What has he written? So he was a critique of emerging merit-based system. So he was a critique of emerging merit-based system. Why? So he was a critique of emerging merit-based system. Why? Because he feared this shall lead to what? Social stratification. This shall lead to social stratification. And this stratification would eventually lead to what? New form of social intelligence. Who said this? Michael Young, that this will lead to a new form of social intelligence. Fine. Okay, so this was about merit in the age of artificial intelligence. Okay, the next thing that is coming is uh, neither uniform nor civil. So what is happening is, see, the article is Uttarakhand's UCC restricts liberties, has chilling effect on freedom of choice. So what is happening? Now if you see Article 44 of the Indian Constitution talks about what? Article 44 of the Indian Constitution talks about what? Indian state to provide for a Indian state to provide for a uniform civil code. Now, since the article has, precisely talked about Uttarakhand's Uniform Civil Code, so we'll talk about what is the Uniform Civil Code of Uttarakhand. So, Uttarakhand's UCC. Now, see what has the Uttarakhand, or what is the UCC of Uttarakhand. So, this the law of Uttarakhand has emphasized what? Firstly, there are common provisions with respect to what? Marriage, with respect to divorce, with respect to inheritance, with respect to live-in relationship. So, marriage, divorce, um, inheritance, live-in relationship. Uh, Now, what are the salient features associated with respect to marriage, divorce? So they have said what there shall be a common age for marriage. So common age for marriage with respect to all communities. I know that's not going to vary with community. So with respect to all communities, then they have also talked about polygamy being banned. Then they have given the right to remarry following a divorce to everyone. That means to all the communities. So, right to remarry for all communities following a divorce. they have also talked about what? Providing gender equality. To provide gender equality in matter of divorce. To provide gender equality in matter of divorce. Fine. Okay, so this was these were the provisions with respect to marriage and divorce. Now I shall discuss about the provisions which are associated with inheritance and succession. Now, what are the provisions with respect to inheritance and succession in the Uttarakhand's UCC? So, what is happening is that under this, now Uttarakhand's UCC has allowed what? The Muslim communities. So, Muslim communities. So, Muslim communities for what? To transfer any amount of property according to their will. And you might ask me a question that what is so great about this? So the thing which was associated with it is that initially it was what? That they could only transfer property, that means only 1/3 of the property, and this was based on certain religious text. So initially it was this: 1/3 of the property was 1/3 of the property was transferred with respect to the religious text, and now the UCC has said what? That you can transfer any amount of property. Fine. Other than this, what they have said is now they have described the heirs with respect to what? That who are going to inherit the property. So they have decided with respect to the classes. Now, what are those? See, class 1 heirs are your who will eventually be the immediate family members. So the class 1 heirs talk about who? Children, widows, parents, etc. Class 2 here are about your siblings, nephews, grandparents, etc. And the class 3 years with respect to the succession and inheritance of property are your any other closely related deceased person. This was with respect to Uttarakhand's UCC with respect to inheritance and succession of property. Now, the next thing that I'll discuss is about what is the UCC talking about with respect to live-in relationships. So, what has Uttarakhand in the bag with respect to live-in relationships? So now Uttarakhand UCC has defined live-in relationship explicitly. So they have defined live-in relationship explicitly. Then they have made what? Mandatory registrations. So registrations have been made mandatory. And with respect to what that means, all those couples who are going for live-in relationship, they have to get themselves registered. So mandatory registration. Mandatory registration. Now, in case of termination of the relationship, that means when the relationship gets terminated, you have to probably tell the authority. So again, quite an innovative thing which is coming here. That means you people or anyone probably who is in live-in relationship has to tell the authority that the relationship has got terminated now. So yes, a new India is coming. Termination of a relationship will require that you need to notify the authority. One thing is good, what? That it also provides the women with the right to maintenance if deserted by the partner. So women out there, you have the right to claim maintenance in case of desertion by the partner. Fine. Now, these claims probably, these provisions with respect to live-in relationship is probably going to be applicable to the entire country. That means all those people who are going for live-in relationship, you have to first get yourself registered because that is mandatory. And in case of termination of your relationship, you have to notify the authority. And the women have the right to claim maintenance. So probably I don't understand that what is the point living in relationship. I think this is equivalent to marriage because there also you get it notified by the authority. Then you have the right to claim maintenance. So this is what live-in relationship has for Uttarakhand and also for the entire, or you can say anywhere elsewhere in India. Fine. Okay, now this was Uttarakhand's UCC. Now let's move on. There's one thing that you need to know about it. These were the provisions that I told you with respect to UCC of Uttarakhand's UCC. What you need to know here is that is it any day going to bring any good to the society? Because all the kind of changes that we are talking about, all these changes are only good if it is bringing a positive change in the society, and if in case it is you know if it is going to create a chaos in the society, then probably the old system was better. Now if you see a lot of I don't know whether this privacy is I don't feel even the privacy is there anyways. So you need to know the criticality of this Uttarakhand's UCC. Fine. Okay. Now let's move on to the next article. Now, what is this article talking about? Having panchayats as having panchayats as self-governing institutions. Now, panchayats as self-governing institutions. So first, you should know that when they are talking about panchayats, it's about local governments. So what they are saying is that having local governments as self-governing institutions. So what you need to understand here is, firstly, you need to understand what are the issues that are present with respect to the local government, and why has the author talked about it. So first we need to understand certain aspects with respect to what, whenever we are talking about panchayats, whenever we are talking about local government, we need to understand what, that they are probably one of the medium of what, or you can say they are probably the resort where the decentralization of power is happening. Decentralization of power is happening as in what? The main fringe of the power is lying with the center. Then the power is again decentralized with respect to state, because we have been talking about that India is a federal country. So federalism of power is happening. Now, when it comes to state, then again there is decentralization of power that is happening to the local bodies or the local governments, or you can say the panchayats and all. So let's study about what decentralization. So first you should know what is decentralization. Now decentralization is what? Now decentralization is constitutional transfer of power. And constitutional transfer of power from where? From central government to lower level in a politico-administrative and territorial hierarchy. Fine. Now, the author is saying that we need to have panchayats as self-governing institutions. That means there must be certain issues pertaining to the working of the local government. So, what are those issues? So, see, um, if they are talking about self-governing institutions, that means they are somewhere or other the functioning of the local bodies is getting hampered. And what is that? There is overlap of functioning of panchayats and municipalities. So somewhere or other we are facing the issue of functioning of or overlapping of the functioning of panchayats and municipalities. And with respect to what, that means there is functioning that is happening, but that is the functioning is getting overlapped. Whatever panchayats are doing, some aspects are getting overlapped with your municipality section. So this is one of the hindrance, and that is why probably we need self-governing institutions, or we would say that the working of local bodies is getting hampered. The second thing is that there is a lack of dedicated human resources for PRIs. That means Panchayati Raj institution. What? That is lack of dedicated human resources, and this has led to what? Prohibition. And prohibition of what? Actual devolution of functions. So prohibition of actual devolution of functions. Now, when it comes to funds, that means for whatever working that is going to happen with respect to infrastructure development or anything, there need to be what funds are required. So these funds are coming from where? So first is the grants that are coming from the center or the union government, and for the this grant, that is article 280 talks about grant of funds by the center to these panchayats under the recommendation of what, or under the recommendation of who? Under the recommendation of Central Finance Commission. So under the recommendation of Central Finance Commission. Next is this is with respect to what? This is with respect to the Central Finance Commission. Next is that the devolution of fund is going to happen with respect to who, or devolution of fund by the state government, and this is under Article
Good
243I. And what is this talking about? That means devolution of fund by the state government to the panchayats. Fine. Other than this, there are certain funds that are coming with respect to what? I mean, whatever the schemes are, that means whether they are centrally sponsored scheme, or you can say those schemes are with respect to what, or you can say there is additional central assistance. So grants with respect to or allocation of fund with respect to centrally sponsored schemes, and also some additional central assistance. Fine. So there have been certain issues with respect to the working of these self-governing institutions. So probably for that we require what? We require this devolution of power, and also what, a more autonomy with respect to decision making, and to perform development related work. Fine. Okay. Now the point is, we have talked about that the funds are getting, funds are being allocated from the center, from the state. Then we have allocation with respect to the centrally sponsored scheme. Then we have additional central assistance. But then why is the position of the Panchayati Raj institutions so weak? So there are probably some reasons because of which the financial position of PRIs are weak. So first is that the expenditure or the financial position of PRIs are weak because they are somewhere or other very heavily dependent on central and state government. So they are heavily dependent on center and state government. Other than this, the amount of money they have, they are less as in what? They are less to actually meet the basic functions of local bodies. More than this, panchayats, and I told you that there is a overlapping of overlapping with respect to the functions of the panchayats and the municipalities. So what happens is that ultimately they have who the PRIs, the Panchayati Raj institutions, have very limited discretion. That means major shareholding or the major handling capacity lies with whom? It is the municipality section. So what is happening is that PRIs have a very limited discretion. And flexibility with respect to expenditure. Fine. Now, your work is to explore more of the details with respect to decentralization of power, and what you can do is that you can enhance your content with respect to what is the recommendations that are coming from what are the recommendations that are coming from second ARC. That means this second ARC report is going to bring in heavy content for you with respect to decentralization of power. Fine. Okay, now let's move on to the next article. Now, the next article talks about the minimum support price. So, farmers have been demanding what? Legal guarantee for minimum support price. So, MSP is what farmers need to remain in business. Giving it legal backing will benefit the all stakeholders. So, basically, the article is all about what? Legal backing of MSP. That is minimum support price. Fine. Okay, so the legal backing of MSP. Now, you need to understand that how these MSPs are fixed. So, in my previous classes also, I have talked about various methods. That one is your A2 method, second is your A2 plus FL method, then third is your C2 method, and this C2 method is your A2 plus FL plus the implied cost of rent of land, and then you have all other implied cost. And I've also told you that this C2 method is coming from where? The recommendation by the MS Swaminathan committee. So recommendation by the MS Swaminathan committee. And what is the present method that we are following for MSP? It is A2FL, though it is said that we should now turn up to this method, C2 method, but presently we are following this A2 plus FL method. Okay, and FL is your family labor. Now the point is that they are talking about legal backing. So if we have this legal backing, what benefit is it going to serve? So they say that the author is saying that if we have legal backing, it will benefit all the stakeholders. So what is probably the legal backing going to do? So the author is saying that if we have legal backing, so we can achieve crop diversification. That means what? This will lead to more, or you can say more focus on crop diversification. It can also lead to what? Self-sufficiency. The farmers can or will achieve the stage of self-sufficiency. Other than this is also going to lead to what? Multiplier effect. And what is that multiplier effect? They say that if this money flows to the farmer, what is happen or what will happen? They will spend it, and the demand in the market will be created. So there will be more creation of demand. So more creation of demand in the market. So this is what something the author has been, talking about, and has probably opted for, legal backing of MSP will benefit all the other stakeholders. Fine. Okay. Now let's move on to the next one, since we have less of time, 4 minutes. Okay. Pauline Nariman, who advocated for an independent judiciary, dies. Now, here you need to know what is independence of judiciary. That means, when Farid Nariman was here, so what has he talked about? He was a very eminent jurist and senior advocate. So during this time, he made what? He made, or he left an imprint on law, and has probably various landmark cases in his name. Fine. So what is that now? Independence, he has talked about independent judiciary. So you should know about, how independence of judiciary can be brought in, what are the cases associated with it. So I'll tell something about this now. You must be knowing about National Judicial Appointment Commission. National Judicial Appointment Commission case. And in this, what have they talked about? So Mr. Nariman has represented who? He has represented the Supreme Court Advocate on Record Association, and argued that National Judicial Appointment Commission would or should impinge upon the independence of judiciary. Now, see, this is very simple. Why? Because we are in a democratic country, and we have talked about what, that we have legislature section, we have executive section, we have judiciary, we have media, and all are the 4 pillars of the democracy. Now, when they are the pillars of democracy, then they are going to keep check and balance on each other. So this is probably, or this could probably only be achieved if we have what? If we have an independent judiciary. So that's why Mr. Farid Nariman has been constantly talking about what? Independence of judiciary. Fine. Okay, so this much for today. Any doubt, Amulya? Probably here. Everything clear? Okay, so thank you so much. Okay, thank you. Thank you.